Alright, welcome everyone to today's video. I will basically review the week and make an analysis for um, all the trades. And yeah, basically just doing a weekly review and what I anticipate to trade. And I basically look for 1 to 2 the free trades a week. They can run anywhere from a few hours to a few days, even 2 weeks on average. And yeah, for a funded account, the risk would be 2% per trade. And on a personal, that's private for now. And yeah, basically looking at a mix of fundamental analysis mixed with a scaled down technical approach from the weekly to the daily to the hourly. So yeah, let's jump in. I will do it rather quickly. Um, so let's start on a weekly. I will have a look at fundamentals from a weekly and daily standpoint. So this is COT data. Um, so this is basically the weekly analysis. So we broke that structure to the downside. Yeah, we recently had a shift in market structure. We then took liquidity here. So this is basically the first low that we want to see that gets taken. That's from a weekly perspective. And on a weekly, fundamentals are even bullish until here, and now that's shifted. Now there's a different view on the daily, and as you can see right here, when we mitigated this weekly, we shifted fundamentally, and then we shifted technically. Now price tapped into, after the shift, tapped into this imbalance and then shifted down. So you can basically do this, and this trade will run for a few days. Yeah, if you wanted to do high risk, you could do something like this, but I wouldn't do this. But the risk to reward would be absolutely mental. But again, most of the time it's not worth it to play around like this, so just play it safe, stress free, and that's a trade. So that's for EU for this week. Now let's have a look at GU. Yeah, GU on the weekly actually has a kind of different story, because here till this level we're bullish. Now we've kind of moved into this, had a mitigation here, so and we had this break here, leaving room for this to get filled. So on a weekly, for me, this would be the target, but for right now, here, so yeah, we have not, so we've mitigated this high, this weekly level. We filled many imbalances along the way, low time frames. Now we've got some internal liquidity all the way here. So right now price did not yet push below this and close. It right now fills this imbalance and it looks like it wants to go up. Nevertheless, should we get a shift, possibly from here, a shift to the downside, we then can look for price to get down to these levels. So we will see right now it's bullish. So yeah, on a low time frames, it's bullish up until here at least. So price does what it wants, but this is what I would expect. So nothing here yet except the opposite. So yeah, at least this was a trade, but on the higher time frame horizon there's nothing yet on GU. Now gold made all-time highs in these last weeks, took the liquidity, and now basically it broke this full body, and this is the order block up here, the weekly. So we basically are in this range. Even here we broke it, so it just fills imbalances. It filled this one here, pushed lower. So what we can expect is price to come in here and push until here, and then we need it to break yeah, into this area down here, or price actually taps into this and then we get something like this. So we will see. Obviously price is still in an uptrend, but we broke structure, so yeah, need more confirmation, but yeah, we could potentially expect some reversal lower. And also look at fundamental data. It shifted all the way here, so they are net short the commercials. So yeah, we can expect some reversal if technical confirms it too. Now let's go into US 30. So obviously, yeah, we made a new all-time high, boom, crap liquidity pushed lower on a weekly, and then we basically mitigated this. Now, all the way from here, they are net long. So now it kind of shifted, but only with this low time frame horizon on the weekly. So I would expect price to get up here. However, on the weekly, yeah, we had this imbalance here. So external, internal, back to external, and then making a new all-time high. So that's what we can potentially expect. And now let's have a look at the price action more precisely. So this is the auto clock, and here it's a little bit more visible, a little better. So we have not yet shifted above this, but internally we've shifted. So basically here, put the stop below here. So this is basically a 1-to-1, but should we break above this, the target would be here, and that's a 1-to-3, and that's a trade, and that can run for a few weeks basically. So all eyes on US 30. If we break above here, that's the target. Now with NAS, different story, more bullish. Yeah, so a few weeks back we had this. Here was a beautiful trade, but these last days, so we took external back to internal, shifted structure, came back. Yeah, and you basically had this trade, and it runs ever since. And yeah, not a lot of good entry opportunities except some scalping. Yeah, and here you can clearly see that we get these sideways phases where the market accumulates more and then pushes up. So yeah. So let's quickly go over the other pairs. So here you can see all these shifts in structure. So this pair not really good right now. Nevertheless, these are your zones, and you can see nice mitigation right here, and then here we get a shift. So once price came here into this, we saw a shift here. And you basically have a trade here that's pretty fast, and then here to the weekly low So that's a better one. Just put it to break even once it reaches this. Let it run. Yeah, that's a trade. And here, as you can see, the fundamentals at mitigation level were quite bearish down here on the daily. So the daily seems to align with most of the entries. So yeah, that's pretty good. Now this is for EG. So we had this mitigation there. So yeah, you had this perfect trade that is still running. Yeah, that basically ran for a month, but look at this. So with 2% risk on 100k funded, that would be 14k minus the profit share. So that's a lot of money just for letting it run on 100k. Now multiply that times 4 on 400k, so that's enormous. And that's just swing trading. Yeah, obviously plus the swaps, which can accumulate some big numbers too, for or against you, but yeah. So yeah, here there is not much going on, except we had some lower time frame swing. So there's the mitigation, and then yeah, could have entered here, but yeah, quite recently there's not much going on. Price kind of reached this nearly on a higher time frame perspective, and then yeah, fucks around in here. So right here you gotta push now. So there might be an entry down lower. Yeah, so that's going on. So let's move on to EJ. Yeah, we've just mitigated this whole auto block, and then finally in the next days, 2 weeks, going down all the way here, because that is the real low. So that is what I expect for EJ. Yeah. Now, EJ. We're highly bullish. We still need to break above here. So we're in this big ass range. So there was a beautiful trade down here. Now we even broke structure to the upside. Kind of broke this. So the daily is not very clear, and also we've got this imbalance here. So yeah, there's nothing yet here, nothing clear. It's real messy price action at this point. Yeah, you had some short-term trade here this week. Yeah, it looks like it wants to go lower into this internal, but it's not very clear for me here. So it could have entered something like this, but I wanted to break below here, secure the trade. It's not a good one. But again, here fundamental data says we're bearish, so this is what we can anticipate. Yeah, here there's a beautiful trade on AU. So yeah, let's scale it down from the monthly. So obviously we're bearish, nevertheless, so we even mitigated this block here, but we also broke that structure. Now this is the block, and so we are bullish up until here. That doesn't change on the weekly. We've got some ugly mitigation, and then we get a break and a break and so on. We've got some very small imbalance here on the weekly. Yeah, on the daily it's very clear. Yeah, so this is basically going on. Here it becomes clear, and so from this perspective, again, we're bullish. However, we did not yet reach this internal. Nevertheless, yeah, the signs are there. Fundamentals just shifted, but not yet bullish. Here they shifted on the 4 hour, and then after that the push came. Yeah, you can clearly see that they accumulated, and then news pushed it higher. Then we came back. Where did we come back to? This low, and then you just look at structure, the shift. There you go. And basically had like a risk entry and a very confirmed entry, like here. Yeah, different ratios, but all good. 2% risk, that's a lot. For the month, like basically just one trade is enough for an more than average income. Yeah, or to pass a challenge. So here we go, price pushes. That's AU. Now here on UJ, the same thing. Yeah, we're still bullish until we fill this daily level. We did not yet. So yeah, here price came back, nice entries. So yeah, shift, boom, protect the low. There you go. Yeah, pretty good trade, but no real entry here. Ratio would be worse. However, obviously you could enter a 1-to-1 all the time, but yeah. Okay, GJ. still bullish obviously, but yeah, it tapped here into this. Now it crap liquidity pushed lower, so it's not really clear for me, but you can look at mitigations, the higher time frames, and here you can clearly see a trend. Now here's a shift, and so you got this entry. So that's a short-term swing trade. Yeah. Now fundamentals say short, obviously, so gotta be cautious with this one. But yeah, that's risk. Now this one fulfilling its target basically should go all the way down here because we're in a downtrend. Now let's have a look at imbalances. Yeah, there's a small one. This looks pretty efficient. Yeah. So here we had an imbalance, price tapped into this, then basically mitigated this. That's a low. Now we shifted, and so you can like protect this one, target the low, and that's a trade. Sorry, and then yeah, let it run all the way down here. Next one. Here's the CAD. So we got these tops, they definitely will get broken. So on the weekly, shifted, we're bullish all the way. So yeah, definitely will break these tops because that's a triple already. Yeah. So price mitigated this, then we got a shift. Price came back down, new high, and so on. So down here we then had, sorry, we then had another shift and another one. So yeah, like always protect the low. So that's the first target, and then up here for long term, and it's a 1 to 10. So that's a crazy trade. If you wanted more protection, you could have done this, but in this case makes no sense. So yeah, 1 to 10, perfect. Yeah, then we've got this. So yeah, so here with this trade, there comes the election cycle with the peso. So we just mitigated, tapped into this weekly block. We've got all this imbalance down here, and Price already here shifted at the mitigation on even on the weekly, on the daily much earlier. So net short here already. So everything looks perfect. So we should get below here on the daily and then basically drop into this and this. Yeah, on the 4-hour time frame, right at the mitigation, you have this. So this is the first target, obviously, and then basically here, and that's a 1 to 5. So that's perfect. Yeah, here same things with Frank, mitigation, boom, going lower. And now the weeks just play out. So that pair is not favorable right now. Nothing here, but up here, perfect trade. Same thing. There's a crazy one playing out. Still running. Yeah, that's cool. Now here. So price always does this. So we wick it. We then get a real body break within the wick, but cannot break lower, indicating boom, we'll go up. And that's what is happening. And everything right at this auto block. So strong price action. Now this is a top. Yeah, look at this price action. Everything is pretty clear. Now this is a new high. Yeah, so we're bullish. That's the bias. And then, yeah, we got a mitigation here. Yeah, so let's go on the other time frame. So right here you can see fundamentals say bullish, boom, price pushes up. And here we got a shift, so there's a nice trade, like protect the low and target this. So that's a nice 1 to 3 running. So as marked before, here's an imbalance, price tapped into this, giving some reaction. It's always fascinating how precise this works. Yeah. Yeah, price is indeed bullish on the very big time frame on the weekly, but just obviously reacted at this auto block and pushing into the internal and then probably the external. So from here on the daily, that is not convincing yet. We could go lower. We also got imbalances sitting there. So I would just wait for price to get lower, give me some reaction and go up. Yeah, so nothing here really. So price now is just going sideways. Yeah, nothing on this pair. Now here obviously bullish as shown. This is the weekly top. This is the daily auto clock. And it looks like we have just shifted. So from here, two opportunities. So we could have done this, very risky, but very big risk to reward. Or you could do this and play this one much safer. So you decide, do you want to risk this or go with that? Now we've got the shift, but please mind, once we get here, we will potentially see a reaction and we could go lower. So keep this zone in mind. And from here, yeah, we need to see if we can push higher or not. That's interesting. So here overall we're bearish, but recently weekly mitigation, price internally shifted, blah blah blah, and now we came back up and we just can't go above. Interesting. And on a weekly we're net short. So what do you think will happen? We also have this imbalance, so price from here looks like we will reverse. And actually if we break below that, if we break below here, you could play a 1-to-1. Yeah, but we also have a imbalance here. So the play would be for price, break it, come back here, and then go here, and then you would have doubled the risk to reward ratio. So there you go. But nothing confirmed yet. Here, same thing as with GJ. Yeah, reaching these. So yeah, we're still pushing. Here's the weekly auto clock. Shifted on the daily. There you go. Price is all efficient here. No, nothing. So you can do this, target this, and then the weekly level up here. So that's a nice trade. Or you can go for the internal. That's another nice trade. Yeah, here, same thing, still, sorry, we still need to go up here. That's some very messy, ugly price action here. Negation, break. Yeah, protect the trade and target this. So that's another nice trade. Here, same thing. Didn't even tap into this, maybe on the daily. Yeah. So yeah, another nice one. Nothing here. Yeah, and this one's interesting. AUD pairs. So that's the monthly. Yeah. Right, yeah. Tapped into this. Cool. Yeah, there's a daily. Oh yeah, I initially expected price to tap into this and then go up, but we're already at the monthly order block, so that was enough for price to push. Yep. And again, we had this shift in market structure. So down here, so there was a trade, and now into this. Let it run for a few days to weeks, and yeah, now it's just pushing. That's it. So if you're late to the party, could have entered here. So that's at least a 1-to-1, and then target this. Yeah. Yeah, price is pushing here. Nothing good. We tapped into the imbalance, and on the daily it shifted. But yet again we stayed within this block. Order block down here. So down here, yeah, this trade 1-to-2. Now should we break above here, which I expect because this is now a double top, we can go up here. Yeah, here we shifted. So for the last trades, I didn't look at the fundamental data. However, I will do that now again. Yeah. Yeah, so up here a few weeks ago was a nice spot. So now we've shifted lower. So obviously here, very nice trade, and now it is just running and going lower. So no nice entry here. However, we took external. Yeah, I would not risk it. So fundamental data says up. What happens? It goes up. Yeah, nothing here. Ooh, what do we have here? So, a few weeks ago, I anticipated that oil, so on the daily, we had this internal imbalance to fill. We did. We then reached this auto plug down here perfectly. And then I was expecting, so fundamental data said bearish all the way. Yeah. However, I was expecting for price to actually reach this weekly level here. Yeah. So we had a market structure shift. We had this mitigation. We had this internal sitting here, so everything is perfect. So basically, down here, you had this shift. Now what you can do, like use this wick, because that would be a tight stop. Nevertheless, a crazy trade up until here. So either like this, high risk, if you have to pass a challenge, or like this, and even with that 2% you would probably nearly pass. Yeah, and then eventually target this, and this is what price is doing now. Perfect. And fundamental data is conflicting, still saying we're bearish, so it could potentially shift on the next report, but yeah. And here we have platinum. Yeah, it's still running, still reacting to this auto block, filling some imbalance here. This looks all efficient. Yeah, so I would expect price to at least reach this one. So yeah, potentially should go lower. Fundamental data is telling it will go lower. And that's it for the day, for the week. I'll give another update on a weekend, and yeah, that's basically it. So just focus on swing trades, 2 to 3 trades a week, let them run, and that's more than enough with good confirmation. Be patient, because scalping is just not worth it, except you're Superman or you have time all the day, which I don't. So that's perfect. Have a good one.